Thank you so much, Jermaine. With that testimony that Jermaine referenced, we have Debbie Novak here to tell her story. Thank you.
Thank you, Jermaine. I wanted to come and speak today in regards to the misinformation that has been released to the public in response to the new Senate and House bills that have now been enacted into law in the state of Washington. I also speak to you as a mother of a son that was shot and killed by a Spokane City police officer on January 7, 2019. You would think that after all this time I could talk about it without getting emotional. My son, David Novak, was shot in the back as he entered his front door to his home. He was unarmed and he had committed no crime. This all happened within 11 seconds of the officer arriving on scene. I also speak to you as a previous Spokane City Police dispatcher, where for the first year of my training, I was required to go out on patrol. And that's why I get so frustrated when people tell me I don't have a right to say. I have a right to say. I have been out on those patrols, and I have seen and witnessed the issues within our police departments. There needs to be accountability by our police officers. This is real. These type of incidences are really happening. When I say both sides, I am talking about the officer that now has to live with knowing that they may have mistakenly taken a life, and the grieving family that has had their loved one violently taken from them. And as all you already know, this is happening at record-breaking numbers in Spokane. Spokane is third in the country for police deaths for our population, per capita for our population. This is a reputable organization, Mapping Police Violence, that reports these figures, and this is information that they get from the FBI and the Department of Justice. I want to applaud our senators and representatives and our Spokane City Council for their tireless work to attempt to restore the public's trust and faith in our law enforcement. As of December 2018, and I bring up December because that's when Initiative 940 went into effect, until February of this year, there has been 105 people in Washington State that have lost their lives due to police use of lethal force. That's just in the state of Washington, 105. I am sure that you and others, and that includes myself, are outraged and consider this unacceptable. These new laws are a step in the right direction in saving lives and helping our law enforcement agencies to gain credibility from the citizens of Washington State. These laws will serve as a vehicle to ensure that local agencies are doing their job of a proper investigation without outside influences. And when I say outside influences, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room, the police guild. It goes without saying how ludicrous it is to have a police officers union have a say in whether an officer is held accountable for his actions and whether it can even be investigated. No other profession does this. These police officers or law enforcement agencies, they need oversight that is not hindered by a union contract as it has been in the past. Several of these new House bills and Senate bills that now are law address this issue. This will make for a better work environment for the police officers that wants to do a good job, and they want to do it right, and they want to do it legally. It is quite a process to follow a House bill or a Senate bill from its beginnings until it is actually made into law. It is a complicated process and a detailed process that is carried out by our elected officials in our legislature in Olympia. It involves many agencies and rounds of voting and testimonies from both sides. I tried to do testimony in regards to some of these House bills and Senate bills in Olympia. There were so many families and so many mothers and loved ones that I couldn't even get a turn. I couldn't get on the list. These laws have been carefully worded and debated by our mayors, police chiefs, and citizens of Washington State. And let's remember what brought this all on. This is what happened last year. The people are demanding change. I've heard several of you already speak about 1310. House Bill 1310 that's now been enacted into law sets the expectation that de-escalation be an officer's first instinct and that deadly force should only be a last resort. Isn't it just a crying shame that this has to be a law? But apparently it does. It has to be a law. That you only take a life as a last resort. These laws are really common sense laws that the average person cannot grasp that they were not laws that were in place to begin with. So as for the comments that law enforcement won't be able to do their jobs, change is hard, but all professions have change, and this is change that is way overdue, and that will save lives on both sides of the issue. Embrace it, and let's stop with the sky is falling mentality. The sky is not falling. Thank you.